Do we have an agenda?
I don't see anything added.
Is it worth just doing a quick update on where we are at the moment?
Yes. Well, so we can start with the GSOC, update, right? So, Rajat, where are things with the new UI? Were you able to get it to work? Like if I click on the link in the PR, does it go to the new UI or does it go to the old UI? So the first thing that you can probably do, or at least you should verify, is it works with the old UI, right? That you click on the link, goes to the old UI because you're using, like A3S, right? So where are we with, like, do you have a status update?
Actually, it's not working. So I think there are some changes need to be made in Ingress. But then I thought that the like uh, the domain is not actually accessible, I think. So yeah, I still need to take a look at it. I mean, I actually did not had any, I didn't made any progress in 2-3 days. So yeah, I'll do some research around it and have some update.
Okay, so let's sync tomorrow, I guess. And because we have our usual meeting, we can go over it. Osama is not here, but I know that he's working on signing all of our like binaries using like cosine.
Changes.
Sorry.
Yeah, I saw some PRs for tecton chains.
Yes, so that is very new. Tecton chains is for signing the task runs at this point. They have so they recently merged a feature where you can also sign a pipeline run. And that works really well for us because our build controller takes a pipeline run and creates a pipeline, like activity from it. So we don't really deal with the task runs, like directly. So although that thing is merged in chains, it's not yet, like released, but I expect it to be released very soon, maybe by the end of this month. Once that is done, then yes, we will upgrade to a newer version of Tecton chains. The thing that he had done last week was like verified that the jobs that are getting like triggered by Jenkins X or by like Lighthouse in our case. So when you go and like create a pull request, it creates a Lighthouse job, which then creates a Tecton like task run, or I mean that which then gets like, so it creates like a pipeline run which is made up of different like task runs. So he was able to show that that all of the task runs that are like generated that are like generated by like Jenkins X actually work, like they're all like getting signed. So that's a good step. Once we have a new version of Tecton chains, we will try it out with the pipeline runs, and we can take that like attestation and just copy them over to the pipeline like activities. And once that works, we should be able to show in the UI if your build, if your build has been signed, basically. So that probably is going to happen once Chains has a new like release. We'll see, because the last release was in August. Was in like September, and seems like they come out with a monthly like release. So we should be expecting one this month. But that is the update from like Osama's project. From my side, the version stream was like flaky. That was creating a lot of issues. None of our like pull requests were getting merged. Somehow one of them got merged, which led to even more like issues. There was a bug in the build controller where for every new like pull request, it would die. It would just get like terminated and then go into a crash loop, and that was creating issues with the with 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 the newly created builds, as they were not getting their like status like updated. I don't know how that PR like went in, because it seems like we did retest multiple times and eventually it just went in. But maybe next time we see that a PR does not get merged in its first attempt, we can try one like retest, because after all, end-to-end test depends on like network, and that can go down. But other than that, if we see the error happen more than twice, like the exact error happening more than twice, we need to create an issue and like get it fixed. That didn't happen. That led to issues down the line, but it got fixed like yesterday night. I saw 2 PRs go in their first like attempt. Everything seems to be working now. The other thing was I created a LTS branch. Although I'm going to update it with this change, and I will start like working on it this week. So I will make the I will also create a pull request for JX, like GitOps, that can help us to switch between the normal, like version stream, which comes out like multiple, like releases, like every day, versus the one, like version stream that gets, like updated once in a while. I will give a status update soon on that, but I did create an LTS branch in the version stream repo, but I got a bit blocked by the JX3 like version stream
Issues.
pipeline not working. I think so the last thing that I had for like as like an update is we have external secrets like operator chart in our like version stream. So there was this ticket around like migrating from Kubernetes external like secrets, which is like deprecated.
Yeah.
So we want to move to like ESO, and I just created the charts like for it. Everything should be like similar to the old charts. The only thing is there are new like CRDs. So I have a pull request in JX like secret. Actually, I can share my screen. It's probably better just talking about it in the air. I can't type secret. I have a pull request. It's very new. Basically so what I'm trying to do is make secret convert and secret, like populate work with both of the versions. Because I don't want to have a weird, like breaking change. So then people are going to have, like issues when they do, like an upgrade. I have to still, like write a blog post once this PR is in, like a workable state. I will run a test in my, like A3S cluster, where I will first, like boot up a cluster which has the old, like KES charts, and then I'm going to go and, like replace it with, like ESO, and then see that, like both of them, like see that, like both of them work. At this point, JX secret, like populate works. JX secret, like convert still needs to work with it. So JX secret, like convert is actually the command that creates an external, like secret from your, like secret. So when you have this, like Helm chart, it has a secret file. So this is a convert that, this is the command that runs in your, like boot job, which basically does, like the conversion. And once it's done, it gets checked into your GitHub, like repository, because it doesn't have any, like secrets. So that is where I am with it. Hopefully I will have it done by the end of this week. I spent a fair amount of time this weekend trying to, like get it to work. But yes, that is basically all I did in the last 2 weeks or so. Any other updates from anyone?
So I don't have an active cluster at the moment, but I'm about to look at a project that may want to use the system again. Where are we in terms of overall stability and maturity now? Are there any significant outstanding issues?
I don't, like think so. I think it's pretty, like stable at this point. Yeah. I
That
believe
sounds
so.
good. I saw
yep.
some conversation about Cert Manager. Does that mean we've got signing issues for HTTPS?
Did you see them today or something?
No, it was a little while ago, but I don't know if it was an ongoing problem or something that's been resolved.
I believe it was, like resolved, but I will, like check it again. Maybe I don't remember. I will check and, like let you know. But I don't think Cert Manager was an issue. Yeah, I will check again. I don't remember that. I do know that we don't support, like Kubernetes 1.25. There are some, like CRDs that just won't work with 1.25. So I will have a ticket for that, and see if we can move and like if we can, like test it out with the K3S cluster that's going to run, like Kubernetes 1.25. So
okay, have we got a page on the documentation site that lets people know what range of cluster versions are supported?
that is a work in progress. I want to have that. I actually want to have that as a test that runs on every, like version stream PR. I just need to get that test, like up and running. I do it locally from time to time, but again, that's not really a great, like measure. So no, we don't have one at the moment, but we will have one very soon. So, and then when we
Okay.
break, like when we break, like a version, like compatibility, then we are going to be very, like loud about it. At this point, I know we support Kubernetes version 1. Like 2.1 plus, all the way to 1. Like 24. But I know we don't support 1.25. So.
Okay. And the default Terraform scripts for starting new clusters,
Yeah.
are they being kept up to date with compatible version numbers, and where do they sit in?
So we actually let the user, like decide which version of Kubernetes they support. So EKS, I believe, is on 1.23 or maybe 24. And that's what I run for my own, like personal cluster, and that seems to work. Our own, like our own, like personal. So the GCP cluster actually runs 1.22, and we will do, like an upgrade soon. But yes, we have clusters running 1.22, 23, and 24 at this point. But the option is now is so you have to, like set it up by default, at least for like the Amazon, like module. I have to check, like GCP, and I have no idea about, like the Azure one. Tom, who is one of the, like maintainers, he should know more about it.
Okay. So that
But
seems like one of those issues where we're asking new users a question that they can't even get the information to answer.
yes. So that
So
is something that we really want to improve soon. Like we want to make it very clear which versions are compatible, and yeah. Yes. Sorry, go ahead. Hello.
yeah, sorry, that was all I wanted to know. Really was clearly we've had a few of those in the past where we had a what looked like a nice simple wizard-based mechanism for getting set up for new users, but then to actually answer the questions, you needed to understand how the system worked at a detailed level before you could answer them correctly. So it's always been a challenge, which is how do we actually provide the information that you need in order to make the right decisions when you're doing the installation.
Yeah. I think like what I have in mind is to have a kind job that like runs at least the boot job, just the boot job for now. We can do much more complex stuff, like down the road, but at least run the boot job across 1.21 to 1.25. Because kind comes out with, like Kubernetes versions, like fast. And if we run at least the boot job for now, we can catch, like early on when we go and, like upgrade a chart, for example. If it breaks, like compatibility with 1.21, then we can, like fail that PR, or at least make some, like announcement that, hey, if you are going to do a JX GitOps, like upgrade, then this chart is going to break, like compatibility with your old version of Kubernetes. So before you do that, upgrade your, like cluster. And I think that is one way that I was thinking. That's probably a simple way.
Yeah, and that sounds like a good idea, and it sounds as if we probably want to automate some of that information into the
Yeah.
the basic documentation so
Yes.
that it's telling people what they need to know
Yes.
as soon as they engage with the site and start trying to install it.
Yes. Right.
And I think the problem there is that people tend to default to the latest version of anything that they haven't got a specific issue around,
Yeah.
which it will obviously bite us.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if they're using, you know, like on-prem, that's like they can go to, you know, like the latest versions. If they're using EKS, for example, like Amazon takes forever to like go to a new, you know, like version. So that kind of helps us in a way because people are using at least 1 or 2 versions older than like the latest one. I have no idea about, you know, like Azure. I have heard that they go like really fast compared to, you know, like Amazon. Again, GCP also I need to take a look. So
Yeah,
but
the
yes,
problem
like
has usually occurred in the Google space because
hmm,
they tend to roll out new versions of Kubernetes very
yeah.
early on. So I know that's bitten me in the past a few times.
Yeah, I know the GCP infrastructure, like the internal one for Jenkins X, is on the stable, you know, like release. One of the things that maybe we can try to do is move that to, you know, like rapid, so that we get actually like we as like Jenkins X can you know, like test it out with like newer, you know, like versions also. That might give us more, you know, like confidence, asking our, you know, like users to use Jenkins X with a later version of Kubernetes.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way of catching the problems earlier than anybody else.
Yeah, because we
The
are
other thing
running
that might
122. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, the other thing that might be worth doing is just putting a little bit of documentation about a strategy for how to manage this
Okay.
as part of the installation documentation. So, just a
Yeah.
paragraph to explain to people how they should think about managing their Kubernetes version relative to Jenkins X.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I mean, right. So you know, like a compatibility chart with like the versions of JX would like make a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, that would be great. But even if you just put a little paragraph in saying, stick in the middle of a supported zone rather than going too far to either extreme,
Right.
as a sort of heuristic, then
Yeah.
that would help people.
Yeah. And so one of the things we had some, you know, like discussions around you know, like LTS. And one of the things we wanted to do with, you know, like LTS was, if you are on LTS, say 1.x, and you start like LTS 1.0 to like LTS 1.5 before you move to LTS 2 or something, there will be no breaking changes. Like if you start LTS 1 with Kubernetes 1.22, then the last version of LTS 1.x will be compatible with Kubernetes 1.22. We will like, if we run those kind tests, it will help us not to like, it will help us to keep those charts which are supposed to break, you know, like Kubernetes versions out of the LTS stream. So that was also one of the ideas. Like, for example, we are running Tecton 0.32.4, and hopefully by next week or maybe the week after, we will move to a newer version of Tecton, at least 0.33, and that removes support for Kubernetes 1.21 plus. Sorry, like so it only supports, you know, like Kubernetes 1. It supports anything greater than 1.21. So we need to have those kind of, like release notes and make it very, very clear to people that, okay, going there, if you upgrade the, like Tecton chart, then just know that this is going to break if you're using anything less than 1.21. So just saying, or that would not go into some, like LTS version. Yeah.
It's almost like we need to start tracking our SBOM and the compatibility issues that are anticipated around that. Because I imagine there are going to be multiple problems in this space, with cloud providers deprecating versions at different paces and things like that. So
right. Yeah, that is like, that has always been the problem. Actually, I think there was a talk from, like Fresca. So they're doing this, like supply chain stuff with like Tecton. And one of the things that I asked them was, how are they like guaranteeing that a new version of, so like say a new version of a chart will work with their like platform, because we have the similar issue, but I think at least the version stream that we have makes it a bit like better than like what they have. Like they don't have anything at this point. Like they don't do tests on like every like pull request that gets merged, or say there is a bump in chart. They don't have that kind of test. At least we have that. And so I think we can try and make that a bit better.
It sounds like there's actually a product in here somewhere, because the complexity's getting high enough that you need something that will track all of the incompatibilities in all the dependencies and then predict the sweet spot for the LTS release, based on what it knows about the problems in all the dependencies.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I imagine we'll start to see that as a capability as the sort of software supply chain problem space matures as a whole.
Yeah. Right. That's all I had. I actually have to drop off because I have another meeting. But yeah, well, Martin is the host, so even if I leave, I think it will still be fine. See ya. Bye-bye.
Well, bye. It doesn't seem like, it seems like we're in here, so.
I also don't have anything, so are we discussing anything else?
Doesn't sound like it. I don't have anything specific that I wanted to talk about today.
No. All right, then we'll give back you these 19 minutes. So bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks all.